Okay, I'm waxing my four-door sedan. It's obviously speeded up. I'll explain that as I go through the video. I've been doing this on my car since I bought it new in 2014. That is, waxing it every 6 months, or in the best case, maybe every 3 months. Ideally, it should be waxed every 3 months. So this is the wax application process. I do not do one panel at a time. That just takes too long as far as I'm concerned. So what I'm doing here is applying the wax over the entire car. It's faster and this works for me. And I've never had a problem getting the wax off. The reason that it's faster than doing one panel at a time is that I'm not constantly switching between using the applicator and using a clean removal cloth. I do try to apply as light of a wax as possible because it doesn't take a lot of wax, and the less wax that I apply, the easier that it is to remove when it comes to that phase of the waxing. This is probably one of my least favorite things to do as far as car maintenance goes, but it's important for the paint, obviously, to keep it looking nice, so I do it. And any of the black plastic surfaces, I do obviously try to stay off those, like the luggage rails on the roof. I do try to stay off those, and the black crosshair and the front bumper area. So here I'm doing the roof, the other side of the roof, again, using as little material as possible or as little wax as possible. This wax does seem kind of forgiving if I do get it on a black surface, provided it's not a matte black painted surface, then it doesn't seem to be a problem as far as getting it off. Now, there's no real matte black paint on this car, so I really can't. If I'm a little sloppy and I get it on the black surfaces, not a problem really. Here I'm doing the back bumper. I have waxed the front windshield, the back windshield, and the windows before, and I've never had a problem. And obviously, it goes without saying that the car was cleaned and washed before I did this waxing. That's obviously, that's extremely important. You can't wax a dirty car. So this car just came out of the car wash. It's totally clean, absolutely clean. I do check the pads from time to time to make sure there's no grit or dirt that's trapped on the pad, because that would cause some bad scratching, and clearly I don't want that. That would be a problem. So definitely don't want to do that. Also, just FYI, there are similar sedan sizes to this car, like a Toyota Avalon, a Nissan Maxima, or a Chevrolet Impala. If you want to get an idea of the size of this car, equivalent sizes of other cars. The wax I'm using here, it's commonly available online. I'll leave a link in the description below. I do like it. It's easy to apply, easy to get off, fairly easy to get off. And I'm using a number of these round foam applicators here. If they tend to load up with impurities in the paint that have been lifted off the car while I'm waxing it, then I'll change to a new applicator. So I probably have about a half a dozen of those things, or 10 of them with me, and I change fairly frequently. Again, I've had good success. This is the way that I've waxed this car for years, and I've never had a problem. And I've used the same wax. I've never had a problem getting it off. So this was a single take video of me waxing the car and removing the wax. It took me 60 minutes here in this video. I speeded it up by a factor of 4. So it's now 15 minutes. I think the applying wax phase was like 8 minutes. So in real time, that would be 4 times 8 is 32. So it took me 32 minutes to apply the wax. Not too bad. If this took like 2 or 3 hours to do, I wouldn't even bother to do it. It would just be too much of a hassle for me to do this. I would probably just never do it, or I'd pay somebody to do it for me. I don't want to spend like half a day waxing a car. So yeah, it's kind of therapeutic. It is a good feeling after I'm finished with this, knowing that I got it done. And again, I will check the pads. It might not be visible in the video, but I do check the pads from time to time to make sure I don't have any grit or dirt in there, just to make sure there's no impurities on the pad that are going to be scratching my paint. So that would obviously be causing more problems than I'm curing here if I scratch my paint. And I've got my stash of pads in there, some microfiber towels as well. So again, the video took 60 minutes. It speeded up by a factor of 4 to make it 15 minutes long. So I did notice that later that day that I had kind of like a rainbow sheen on my doors. I think what happened was I did not change my buffer pads frequently enough. So I did have to go later in the day with a microfiber towel and wipe the doors, spend about 6 minutes wiping this rainbow sheen of wax material off the doors. So in total, this waxing took me like 67 minutes total in real time. Again, it's kind of like a pleasant therapy knowing that, I'm not going to be working on this thing for 3 hours waxing it. It just takes me 66 minutes in this case. And this wax, it does last a long time. I mean, like I say, I generally do it like every 6 months. Ideally, it would be better to do it every like 3 months. I used to use another product called liquid glass, which was available for years. I used that probably the first 4 years of waxing this car, and then it became unavailable. I think it's back on the market now. I'm not sure. I've read some mixed reviews about where some people claim that it's not the same as the original formulation. Okay, I'm continuing to apply this liquid wax on the rear fender. It is a Meguiar's product, by the way. I'll put a link in the description, and the liquid glass. If I can find a link for that, I will as well. Going into my trunk, or my stash, get a few more foam applicator pads. A few spares to go. This waxing took me like 60 minutes. This is a 60-minute video. Okay, I dropped a pad and some sand. That's an anthill there. I dropped another pad. I'm not going to use those pads. I've got more pads in my trunk, so I got a fresh pad there. I will hand wash or machine wash those pads when I get home, and I'll reuse them. They last a long time. I've got some wax time estimates for other cars. Mustang or Camaro, 50 minutes. Mercedes E350, E300, 1 hour. Chevy Impala, 1 hour. Toyota Camry, 1 hour. RAV4, 1.5 hours. BMW 330i, 50 minutes. 530i, 1 hour. X330i, 1.5 hours. Honda Accord, 1 hour. HRV, 1 hour. CRV, 1.5 hours. Mazda 6, 1 hour. Mazda CX-30, 50 minutes. CX-5, 1.5 hours. CX-9, 1.5 to 2 hours. Nissan Altima, 50 minutes. Maxima, 1 hour. Rogue, 1.5 to 2 hours. VW Tiguan, 1.5 hours. Passat, 50 minutes. I am continuing to apply the wax to the front bumper, making sure I've got a thorough coat there. I'm going to do the roof edge here. Notice that I am going to, when I get to that point, I am consciously staying off that black paint between the side windows, between the front and the back side windows. It's not matte black, but still, I don't wax that paint. Doing the driver's door now. Touching up just to make sure I got all areas of the body covered with wax. Passenger side. Driver's side, passenger door. Anyway, okay, now this is the removal phase of the wax. I do use a DA, a double action buffer for this, and I have the buffer pads here. I think I only changed the pad like twice or 3 times. I should have changed it more. I think had I changed the buffer pad more, I would not have had that rainbow sheen of material on my doors, or maybe I didn't use quite enough pressure on the doors with the buffer pad. Anyway, this thing's great. It's lightweight. It's cordless, obviously. I do use the 4 amp hour battery. That gives me plenty of run time to knock this thing out. I can really take the wax off fast. Looking at my video again here, it took me like 7 minutes in speeded up time to remove the wax. So this is fairly quick. So that's like 28 minutes in real time to take the wax off. It comes off really quick, but I know an important factor is just not applying a lot of wax when putting the wax on the car, because I'm changing buffer pads here. If excess wax is applied, it just makes the wax removal phase very difficult and frustrating. I've just learned that over the years, just to use as little wax as possible when waxing the car. So here I have a microfiber towel. I'm just removing on some spots here where apparently I couldn't get it off with the buffer, or didn't get it off to my satisfaction with the buffer. This buffer is really easy to operate. here, I'm just doing it with one hand and I got the camera in the other hand. So it's really, light enough just to run it with one hand. I've had this buffer for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. It's great. It's great for this. As far as the climate, this is in December. I'm in full sunlight here. Some waxes recommend not applying in full sunlight. This wax, for me, your mileage may vary, but for me, I've never had a problem doing it in full sun. So now I generally don't like to do it if the painted surface is hot. I mean, like really hot. But even then, I have done it then too, and I haven't had a problem getting the wax off the car. So here I'm doing the doors. Again, I think I probably should have changed my buffer pad again here to do the doors, or maybe applied a little bit more pressure, and I would not have had that rainbow color looking sheen of the wax material left on the car that I noticed later in the day. And when I'm doing like the roof and the hood and the trunk, I don't put a lot of weight on the buffer, and I'm not even putting a lot of pressure on the doors here. When I'm doing the roof and the hood and the trunk, I just use the weight of the buffer really, as I'm not really applying any extra force to it during the removal. Just about to finish things off here. Of course, I will have to use a microfiber towel to get up under the spoiler there and around the door handles, because I can't get in there with the buffer wheel, obviously. And if a car has a lot of fancy like sheet metal work on it, one example that comes to mind would be like a Dodge Charger that has like that kind of on the doors, it has that kind of, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a sunken in area. Cars like that may present a problem. I mean, it's going to slow things down. If the buffer wheel can't just go completely flat across the surface, it's going to take longer. May have to go over with the microfiber towel to remove the wax there. Okay, here I'm going with the microfiber towel, just getting areas that I either missed with the buffer or I couldn't get it with the buffer. Clearly under the spoiler there, I can't get under there with the buffer. I will leave links to the wax and the application pads and the buffer pads and everything else I used in this video down in the links. Thanks for watching. Take care of your cars out there. They'll last longer. Again, thanks for watching. Please, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Okay, I think I mentioned this before, but I have waxed the windshield and the rear glass before, and I've had great results from that. I'm not doing that here due to time constraints. I'm also not waxing the door jambs or the wheels, also due to time constraints. I just wanted to focus on the car's body and show it can be done or waxed in 60 minutes. The wax longevity is approximately 2 months or possibly longer. The liquid wax I'm using comes in a 16-ounce bottle, and I estimate I can do 3 to 4 sedans with that bottle. The link is in the description. The 4 amp hour buffer battery should be recharged before the work begins and after the work is finished. In other words, don't put the battery in storage in a discharged state. And I don't think this video would be complete without me mentioning how much it costs to get a car waxed. I did call 3 automotive detail shops to get their price for waxing my 4-door sedan. Shop number 1 quoted me over the telephone $100. Shop number 2 over the telephone $98. And shop number 3 was a shocking $300. So I'm throwing that one out. I'm not really sure what he was doing there. It's also important to note that the buffer pads and the foam wax applicators, I'll either hand wash those or machine wash them, and then I'll air dry them. They can be reused many times. Okay, I'm continuing here with the buffer, moving around to the front of the car to get the front bumper cover. I know I call this buffer a double action buffer, but it's actually called an orbital buffer. All right, adjusting my camera, continuing on the front bumper to get everything there as best I can with the buffer. Adjusting the camera again. Checking out the car. Buffer cover still seems to be okay as far as being loaded up with wax. I'm going over the car with a microfiber towel to get any spots I missed that I couldn't get with the buffer. Like, for example, under the spoiler and around the door handles. Yeah, this takes a few minutes to go over the car with the microfiber towel. There I'm getting the door handles. And the door handles on the other side. Yep, a few more spots here and there. And of course this black cross hair on the front bumper. the hood, any missed spots. Yeah, so please, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. I think I'm just about to wrap up here. That's it. Thank you for watching.